going on, man?
What's up, man? Sorry, I was having some technical difficulties with that link, but I got another one and that worked. So
Awesome. It's all good. Thank you so much for doing this.
yeah, thanks for having me.
Cool. So our podcast is about your journey in the music industry and how you got to where you are today.
Very cool. Bringing it backwards. I love it.
Yeah, dude. Cool. So tell me about where you grew up.
I actually grew up in two different areas,
Okay.
which is kind of like what inspired this album. I grew up in a very rural part of Idaho. It was a small town called Emmett, and it was a little farming town. I think there was like 4,000 people at the time. I kid you not, I was in a high school, and the high school was domes. So it was like two big white domes. We called it Dolly Parton High because
I love it.
what they looked like, no windows. But that was so different than where I used to grow up, because when I was born, I was actually born and raised in San Diego, California.
That's where I'm at. Really?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like
my gosh.
sunny San Diego, palm trees,
Sure.
like burritos. That was my life growing up. And then my mom got married when I was 6 or 7, and she packed us all up to Idaho.
What part of San Diego did you live in?
So I actually grew up in Spring Valley.
Okay, East County.
Yeah. And I actually went back and visited because I hadn't seen the place where I grew up in a long time, and it was very different. So, I mean, I'm sure you've walked around Spring Valley.
Oh yeah, I know Spring Valley.
Not the nicest of place, but that song on my album, Follow the Palm Trees Home, is about walking from that apartment to the elementary school down the street.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's
cool.
Like, all that is very much intertwined with who I am and my creative process, you know?
Wow. So you moved to Idaho, you said, when your mom got married at like 6 or 7?
Yeah, I think I was about 6.
Okay. And well, tell me why were the high school buildings a dome? Was there a reason behind that?
It probably was like the building was donated to the city. Like,
okay.
I have no idea. I mean, it wasn't a rich town. It was a farm town. So we used what we had, you know? I was on Instagram and someone was painting their house, and they were like, they had the 3 colors, and one was like a bright turquoise blue. And she's like, we're not doing that one because it doesn't look like the tile. And I was like, that's the color house I grew up in. It was bright turquoise, like nothing glamorous about it at all.
That's crazy. So that's cool. That's so crazy that you grew up in San Diego. I love that.
Yeah, I still love SD. Like, I try to get down there as often as I can. Haru Mama like has the best ramen, and like we love just riding our scooters around Mission Beach.
Oh yeah. And isn't your studio in Temecula?
Yeah, so I'm about an hour away.
Okay, yeah, it's not too far. I'm actually in Rancho Bernardo, so we're probably halfway between you and downtown anyway.
Oh, very cool. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So cool. Okay, so you're still in the area then. So you went to Idaho, and then you moved back down to Southern California?
Yeah, my grandma, she packed us up when we were like 6 or 7, and my mom got married. We moved to Idaho, and she helped my mom get on her feet and helped like establish us and stuff. And that's when I met Missy, my wife, who happened to be born in the same area I was born in. And so once we got married, we were like, peace out, Idaho. And we came down to Southern California, because that's where she was from too. And she had so much family, you know, and that's
that's cool. Wow.
Yeah,
how crazy that you met somebody from Southern California as well.
I know. She actually was born in a city like 30 minutes away from me. So she was born in Fullerton. I was born in San Diego.
Okay, sure. Wow, that's crazy. And how did you get into music?
So I was always singing at a young age. I was like the little kid who was in between all of the clothes racks, like on top of them, singing at the top of my lungs, like songs from the radio. Like, I drove my mom crazy. But then when I was in 3rd grade, I actually got caught singing in the bathroom of the elementary school by the 4th grade choir teacher. So she heard me. She comes barging in through the men's room. I'm peeing. She's like, is that you singing? And I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. I'll try to keep it down. Like, I thought I was going to get in trouble. She's like, you're joining choir. I don't care if you're not in 4th grade. And she put me front and center in choir. And that really gave me a foundation for like music theory and training my voice and really using it as an instrument. So the rest is history.
Yeah. So did you obviously took that to high school and everything? You did choir and chorus?
I mean, actually, no, now that you bring it up, high school was very different for me. It was a small town. I obviously loved music, and that wasn't a really popular thing. So unless you're kicking it with the boys after school, drinking beers at your daddy's farm, it wasn't really the place to be, you know. And I did that, but I just I got pushed into a little bit of a box, and I actually didn't sing for a really long time. It was actually a really sad part of my life that I had to work through. And then becoming a young adult, kind of learning about all that and working through it, I was able to find my confidence again and find my passion for music. And so I think it was like about 6 years ago, I started writing music again. I released my first song, This Is Home, and then it kind of all came out from there.
Yeah, so you put out This Is Home, and that song is huge. It went massive on like Spotify and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, I was walking into Home Depot and Lowe's for like 2 years straight, hearing my song every single time. I'm like, this is wild. And I would get videos from people in grocery stores hearing it, and like people who were getting married and walking down the aisle to it. I'm like,
wow,
that song was bigger than I ever could have imagined. And I'm so thankful that I actually wrote it and put it out there and gave it a life of its own.
Sure. Wow. So, well, you said that you weren't doing music for a while, and then you decided to get back into it. Was there something that sparked your interest again that made you go, you know what, I should probably start writing?
So actually, when we moved back down to California, this opportunity landed in my lap for YouTube. So I was a filmmaker, and obviously like I was always creating. So video was my outlet at that time, and I started making videos and putting them on YouTube, and we've had a couple go viral, and then we ended up turning it into a career. So I would say about 3 or 4 years into that industry, I was able to kind of see what I could do and really harness that power with my fans and with my passion. And I feel like that's what gave me the confidence to go, you know what, no, I can do this. And it is something I'm proud of. So they definitely helped me get there for sure.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Cause you started a YouTube channel with your wife, right? Isn't that kind of how it started?
Yeah. So we started a family vlog, and we just documented like growing up, having kids, going on vacations, trying different foods, going to water parks, like all that fun stuff. And then on the flip side, when I decided to do music, we decided to document all that, you know? So we got to film like behind the scenes of doing the music video and being in the studio and building my own studio, which I'm here now, you know? So.
Yeah, I saw pictures. I think it's like you and your son, and there's a microphone. Like, was he on your record at all?
Oh, I actually just had him and my wife sing on a couple of new demos that I've been working on this summer to start shopping around. But
that's awesome.
I love getting them involved. I love this idea that this studio that I've worked so hard to build might not even be for me. You know what I mean? Like it might be for my kids, and to have them grow up within this experience and be able to, you know, turn 18 and be like, yeah, I want to start a music business and I want to build my brand, and they'd be in a great opportunity to do that. So
sure.
I always try to live with that mindset that all this might not even be for me, and I really don't care if it is, but as long as it's there for my family and my legacy, you know, like that's what it's about.
Totally. And you recorded the new record in there, right?
I did, yes. So we wrote about 30 songs last summer here in the studio for the first time. Before it was open to the public, I kind of got to keep it to myself. So we wrote a ton of songs, and we put 4 on an EP for my illegal EP back in January, and then we put 14 on the album for Same Town.
Wow. And then what about the previous records that you put out? You had like Us. Was that something that you did at a different studio?
That was all done in a different studio, same producer. I've been working with my producer since then. But that first record, Us, was really an experiment for me, because that was after I had released a couple of singles. I was like, I really want to sit down and write a full body of work and produce it and have that experience in the studio. And that gave me so much foundational knowledge of music, the industry, like everything. So I was way more prepared going into the next album, and now I'm even more prepared going into the next body of work I'm working on, you know? So
sure.
Us was like a big experiment for me. And I don't know if it's going to be sitting on the platforms much longer, because it's very different from a lot of the stuff I'm releasing now. It's even different than the stuff I released early on, you know, like it was kind of a departure from what I really wanted to do.
Yeah, because now you've got more of the country. You're in the country pop lane.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm trying to write just, you know, real stories about our life still, about our family, about who we are as people and what we hold important. And country music fits that bill perfectly.
Were you a huge country music fan growing up? Or
Yeah. So,
just okay.
yeah. After we moved to Idaho, I mean, I just listened to 90s country. That's all I
Okay.
listen to. My wife, that's all she listens to. Like still when we walk into the kitchen, it's Alexa, put on 90s country, you know?
Okay.
So I grew up chopping wood and shooting bow and arrows and all that stuff, to all that music. But still, you know, had that foundation of pop and R&B from growing up in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, playing with my mom's records, because my mom listened to so much different music.
Oh, she had a big record collection.
Yeah, it kind of lended itself to this country rock pop R&B sound that I'm kind of working with now.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Yeah.
And the record's out. And have you been doing like do you do like the live stream stuff and
Yeah,
perform the
so
songs?
it's the record came out and it was right in the middle of quarantine. I actually
I was gonna say.
Yeah, the day we were filming, we had this huge production planned for Hey, the song. And I'm so bummed because we had to scrap it the day everything just went south. Like we had to cancel. We had like 150 people showing up for this production. And my album is still not out, right? So I had to cancel the music video. And through all that, I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm pushing my album up. I don't even want to
pushing it up.
I didn't want it to August. So I was like, just get it out there and let it and give the music to the people. And now we've been able to sort of sit on it and figure out what the next step is. But yeah, it was definitely interesting releasing an album during quarantine time. But
yeah, that's so funny that
I've been able to jump on the Facebook Lives. That's been super fun. I did like Country Sway and Sounds Like Nashville and the Nashville Meets London. That's all super fun. But I'm really excited to get out there and start performing in front of people again. I miss it.
So you've gone out and done shows.
Yeah. So I live in wine country, so we have a lot of live music out here. I've been able to do acoustic shows. And anytime I release like a single or an EP, I would have like a little stage show, invite some fans out and get it going. But this was the year I was counting on. I was like, I'm ready to hit the stage. I finally have 16 songs that I'm confident in and I want to deliver to people. And then boom, no stage.
That's interesting though, that you took the opposite approach with the COVID thing. Instead of going, you know, I'm gonna sit on the album. You went the opposite way. Like, you know, I'm gonna push it out further.
Yeah, well. Like I knew going into this situation that I'm gonna be writing a ton more. Like we've already written like another 30 songs that we're trying to figure out what to do with next. So
oh wow,
there's no shortage of content for me. So at any time I'm like, just push it to them. We'll move on to the next thing. I'm game.
That's cool.
Content, and what you know.
Yeah. So you've been doing a little bit of the live stream stuff and just kind of waiting to see what
waiting to see
what happens. Yeah, with COVID here. Oh, are you still doing the YouTube videos?
Yeah,
with your wife and stuff.
Yeah, we put up about 3-4 videos a week up on our YouTube channel, Daily Bumps, and it's just, you know, hanging out in the studio, doing schoolwork with the kids, playing in the backyard, kind of stuff.
That's cool. That's awesome. And with the studio now, you opened it to the public, so are a lot of bands, or prior to, I'm sure, quarantine, but were bands scheduling some time?
Because we are still open to the public even now, because I think we have like the requirement for people. I think it's always less than 10 people are in the building.
Sure.
So it's really not a big deal. People can rent it out for their private use. But yeah, we had a big grand opening a couple weeks ago, and I got to like spread the word, and now we're just like, I'm trying to find my days that I can work in the studio now. I'm like, hey, book Wednesday, and Wednesday's my day. Like,
that's cool.
So
yeah,
it's cool. A lot of really, really cool talent coming through here. A lot of great musicians and even engineers using the space for their own artists.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, do you have like an engineer on staff, or are you helping produce? Or
so my producer on staff has been engineering with me forever. And actually in a couple of weeks we're getting ready to get like 10 guys in a little class and have like an engineering like instructional course, so they know how to use the studio and the board and everything.
Sure, that's cool.
Education a part of our process too, because we're learning a lot while we're figuring out this industry, and we want to share that with everyone else.
That's rad. That's awesome. Cool, man. Well, thanks so much for chatting with me today. I really appreciate your time. I have one more question. I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Oh man, aspiring artists. I would say find what you're good at and just run with it. You know, for some people it's visually creative. Like they like to come up with like really cool branding elements behind them visually. Some of them it's storytelling through their music. Sometimes it's songwriting. Whatever your niche is, just find it and hold true to it and be confident in that. Because I think a lot of artists nowadays are like, oh, I'm not a good artist. All I know how to do is really like make beats and top line over it. Like, but that's a huge skill that a lot of people don't have. Mm-hmm. So I feel like just being confident in your skill that you bring to the table is what it takes. Bring it back.